Hi, everyone. My name is Russ Allman. I am the Communications Director for the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and this is The Buzz. And today I am with Mandy Ketcham. Did I say your last name right?
You did. Thank you.
Mandy Ketcham is the dementia support specialist with Highgate Senior Living, and they're going to be hosting a training workshop on dementia here on Friday, September 26th. It's an all-day affair, going to be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I believe it's free to the public,
It
correct?
absolutely is.
And
Yes.
so we wanted to get the word out to let people know that this is happening because dementia and other memory issues with seniors are have been dramatically on the increase over the last couple of decades, and it's very important that people understand what the issues are and how to identify them and how to deal with them. First of all, what Mandy, what inspired you to get involved in dementia care?
So I've been involved with the medical world, senior living medical world, for 25 years. And I first started in a skilled nursing for 5.5 years, where I would say about 90% of our residents had some form of dementia. But 25 years ago, we just thought if we remind them, they will remember. So for instance, if someone's, and this actually happened, someone's spouse died, and she would wheel up to his apartment every day and she would ask, "Where is my husband?" And we would say, we were instructed to say, "Well, he passed away yesterday. He passed away a week ago, a month ago." And every time that someone said that, she just wept. And she probably heard that 15, 30 times a day. And it broke my heart to know that I was making her weep. Soon after that, I came to Highgate. So I've been with Highgate almost 20 years. And my very first tour, I had a lady come in looking for a place for her dad who had advanced dementia. And he lived in a different state. And he was a very intelligent gentleman, part of the CIA. And we just don't think that someone with that intelligence could possibly get dementia. When she walked in, she was looking for answers. When she walked out, she was still looking for answers. I didn't know. And those two events in my work life had made me go down this path of no one will ever come into my presence ever again and not have an answer or feel that they have something tangible that they can walk out with, knowing that they are doing the best that they can do. And so, and then my grandma also had a form of dementia as well.
Yeah, I think most people at this point have been affected by someone in their family with with a memory issue. I know my maternal grandmother had dementia as well, and while I wasn't um, um, I didn't live near her. I heard some of the things that were going on, and it was disturbing.
Yeah,
Um,
80% of people have been affected some way.
mhm.
80%, that's a lot.
So is this because is this mostly because we're more aware of what's happening now, or is it because there have actually been changes, or is it because people are living longer, or is it a combination?
It's yes, yes, and yes. It's all the above. So we are living longer, and that's the number one cause for dementia, is that we do live longer. So we have a higher rate of developing it. We have changed the way that we eat. We are more fast food, processed. We don't work for our food anymore. Back in the day, and even what we call our blue zones, the blue zones, they go out of their house, farm all day. They socialize while they farm. They socialize while they eat. That we work and we socialize for our food and with each other. And we don't do that as a society anymore. And so, and we are also more aware. It used to be called senility. We used to call it, some people actually have midlife crisis, and that's a whole different form of dementia, not the midlife crisis, But what we think is a midlife crisis actually could be a different form of dementia. I mean, there's so many different things, but I think we are more aware of the disease process, and it's not as much of a forbidden word. It still kind of is. It is still a death sentence. People are more afraid of developing dementia than any other disease. They would rather publicly speak than get dementia.
That it's pretty, yeah. Like being somebody that's not the most comfortable public speaker in the world, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads us into, so what is dementia, and where's it come from?
Yeah, so dementia is really just, if you look at an umbrella term, dementia is the umbrella term, and then we have all these symptoms. So dementia classifies as things that cognitively change, that your day is not normal anymore. And so that could be memory loss, which is a hallmark of Alzheimer's, but not other forms of dementia. It could be that you're not able to plan or sequence. So like a checkbook. Those two things doesn't always mean that you have dementia. It could be a dementia symptom, but what we need to find out is what's the cause of the dementia symptom. Now, is it Alzheimer's? Is it vascular? Is it frontal temporal lobe? Is it Lewy body? Is it Warnick-Korsakoff's? And there's so many Parkinson's. There's so many different forms. Or is it depression, medication, infection, isolation, anxiety? If anyone's ever been depressed or has been in pain, man, our memory just goes. Like we just don't function like we have. So dementia is the umbrella term, which is memory loss, functionability loss, to a point where your day-to-day is not the same. It's making a difference. The doctors need then to find out what's the root cause. Is it curable or incurable?
I think that's really interesting to hear, because and especially the idea of it being an umbrella, because it sounds to me like dementia is not in and of itself a condition. It's usually a symptom of other things that are going on, and whether it's hereditary or environmental or some combination of those things. And determining where those come from will help you better treat the condition.
Yeah, so the dementia diagnosis itself is a disorder. The disease is Alzheimer's, vascular. Yeah, so it's just a disorder, so a clump of. Mm-hmm.
So are there people with pre-existing, how do I explain it? Pre-existing memory conditions that are more susceptible to dementia?
So what do you mean by that?
I mean, for example, if somebody was diagnosed younger with ADHD or autism or something like that,
right.
are those types of people more likely to experience those dementia conditions later?
Not really, and there probably is a study out there that I am unaware of, but any type of neurological disorder, ADHD, autism, plethora, seizures, epilepsy, with any type of brain change, including migraines, you could be more susceptible. But it's also, if you have the gene, the ApoE4 gene, it doesn't mean you're going to get Alzheimer's, because you could get it without the gene. So you're not more susceptible in that aspect. But if you have had a football player, a soccer player, cyclist, things that could damage your brain for traumatic brain injury, then yes, that absolutely, you have a higher risk of developing a form of dementia, more of like a frontal temporal lobe, Alzheimer's type. In a lot of these dementias, we actually end up getting a mixed dementia. So you can get frontal temporal lobe and Alzheimer's, vascular Alzheimer's, Lewy body Alzheimer's. So some are predisposed depending on your lifestyle. Mhm.
Interesting. So, what are some of the most common misconceptions about dementia?
Oh, this is one I love. So I get a lot of people that will talk with me and they'll say, I don't think my mom has, that Alzheimer's that people talk about or dementia, which they're not one and the same, but
Mm.
they'll say because she can remember 40 years ago. And that's the classic hallmark of Alzheimer's is the recent memory's gone, long-term memory is still intact. So memory is not only the key part of dementia. We actually lose our function. So even though someone can't remember today but can remember a long time ago, they will also stop being able to eat. They don't know what a fork is. They don't know what a pen is. They don't know how to grasp a cup and drink it. They lose fine motor skills. They start to shuffle when they walk. They don't recognize people anymore. They don't recognize objects because that's a whole different part of our brain. We see with two eyes and we have one occipital lobe that processes that information. And so the biggest misconception is that people think it's only memory loss. So why can't they eat? Why can't they walk? Why can't they recognize me? It's not, so it's not just memory.
Very interesting. Um, so, dementia obviously is something that isn't just going to affect the person who has the has the condition, but all of the people around them, whether it's their loved ones or
Mhm.
care staff or um, or a combination. How how is this? I guess how is this difficult for for people around them?
Yeah. So for a married couple, when you wake up or when you watch a show, when you get off the phone with a friend, when you hear some good news, some bad news, have a good day, have a bad day, you automatically want to share that with somebody. And almost always it's your spouse. And you can share, but there's no reciprocation. That person living with dementia at a certain point cannot reciprocate that conversation. So you do feel that you're talking to a wall.
Mm.
You not only lose the intimacy of conversation, but you lose intimacy of being able to call somebody my husband, my wife, but they don't know that that's who you are as well. And then same thing with kids is the kids have a hard time because maybe I was a daddy's girl or a mama's boy or a mama's girl, and I no longer have that relationship.
Mm.
I know on my way when I travel for work, I'm calling my sons, I'm calling my daughter, and if and they call me, and if I had a form of dementia that I wasn't able to recognize how to pick up a phone or be able to have that conversation on a phone, my kids would lose that relationship with me. And professionals, for me working in this industry for so long, it's a blessing for us that you choose us to take care of your loved one, but we see the devastation that it happens with the person living with it and with the family members. And so not only are we trying to figure out how we feel about this resident that we are taking care of intimately, we're also having to struggle with making sure that the family's okay and the
Mm.
resident's okay.
So as dementia develops, does it tend to be a very gradual thing, or does it tend to be more of a sudden change?
That's a great question. It actually depends on the dementia. Every dementia is different and every person is different. So the saying is when you see one person with dementia, you see one person with dementia. And so some dementias are just a slight decline. It also depends on age. The younger you are, they say the faster your dementia will progress. Some are more of a stair step, graduating down. Some progress really slowly, and you really don't even recognize it's dementia until hindsight, where you're like, oh, 5 years ago, I remember when we went on vacation and so got lost. And so sometimes we don't even realize that it's been happening for a long time. And then when we notice it, we think it's gone downhill very quickly. We're just now more aware. So it really just depends on the dementia and your age and what type of medical interventions that you're looking for.
And in that vein, what are some practical strategies that caregivers can use to help connect and support with people developing dementia?
So this is, I wouldn't say the most controversial, but caregivers always tell me, but you're not in my shoes. And so my best tip is patience. Just be patient. Because I just heard on a webinar today is I always tell people living with dementia lose facts, but retain emotion and feelings. And so what I heard on a webinar today was they're getting energy from my Wi-Fi. If my Wi-Fi is glitching, the person I'm taking care of is going to glitch. And so I was thinking that sounds so familiar, because when my Wi-Fi glitches on my computer and it's having a hard time, then I'm showing a hard time. Like, why are you not working? And that's kind of what we do as caregivers too. Like, they take the energy from us. Whatever energy we are providing, they're taking it because they don't know what else to do. So we truly have to be patient. And it's easier said than done. So it's a practice. We can't master it if we don't practice it. And so what I tell people, if something is frustrating you, I actually did this with a lady. She said, Mandy, my husband and I are both very independent people. But now that he has dementia, he can't even throw away a bag of chips. So it lays right next to his chair in the living room. And we have 2 different living rooms. So every time I walk by his living room, there's a bag of chips, and it just irritates me. I said, but you can't change him. You can only change your response. We need to be patient. So when you walk by that bag of chips, I need you to walk around and like throw your hands up in the air and skip and say, I don't care. I don't care. And so I get this email that night, like at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It says, Mandy, I tried it. And I laughed so hard because I peed my pants, because I can't skip and I don't have a good bladder anymore. So now every single time she sees a bag of chips, she thinks about trying this movement, peeing her pants. And now it's not about the bag of chips, but it's about the fun moment involved. And if someone is safe and you are frustrated at that moment, walk away. You can walk away, go into your bathtub, lay in an empty bathtub and cry. Give yourself 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Don't give yourself any longer than that. But that's going to give you your patience so that you can go back and take care of your loved one.
Does that does that help for caregivers too?
Yeah. You have to just take it truly moment by moment. You know, we always say day by day, not with dementia. It is truly moment by moment. And one of the most frustrating things that I hear is they repeat themselves. They ask me the same question all the time. So if you know that, use AI, use ChatGPT, use something, use your friend group and say, hey, my loved one asked me, when am I going home? I need 15 suggestions, please. Give me 15 suggestions. So now you have 15 tools to go, oh, that's a good idea. How about we do that after our walk? Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. How about we do it after we have ice cream? We'll talk about that later. Like 15 suggestions of how to respond to the same question. You only have control over your response and how you react. So why not have fun with it?
So I think that's not so much about entertaining the person with dementia, but entertaining yourself so that it doesn't drive you up the wall having to answer the same thing the same way over and over again.
Yep, because it will. It does
Yeah,
need to make sense for the person living with
sure.
dementia, but it will drive you up the wall. So we need to find a creative way, improv, of how are we going to handle this so that we don't go insane. And then we also don't project that frustration onto our loved one,
Right.
because then that becomes our relationship.
So let's talk a little bit about your upcoming class. Can you kind of give me an outline of what you're going to be doing in the class, who should attend, and what they can expect?
Yeah. So for who should attend, really anybody. Like I said before, 80% of people living have some form of relationship with someone with dementia. And this could be someone taking care of someone with dementia. It can be a long distance caregiver. It can be someone working in the workforce and their clients, supermarket, bank. It doesn't matter. Adult day center, like you have, whatever it is, anyone can take this class. And so there's 3 parts to this class. The first part, it starts at 9 and it goes till 11, and it's called "What is Dementia Really?" So we're going to break down the common 4 dementias, what they look like, how do people get it, and then also some approaches that will help with these forms of dementia. The other one is at 11:15 to 1, and it's called the GEMS State Model. Now, a lot of people, if they're familiar with the stages of dementia, they know what's called the Global Deterioration Scale, GDS, or the Allen Cognitive Scale, or the 1 through 7 Alzheimer's scale. And these scales are just numbers, which I don't know you, Russ. I like to be a number 1. I don't want to be a number 7. But in some scales, a number 1 is bad and number 4 is great. So how do I know which number I want to be, which we don't get to choose with dementia? But for the GEMS, Tipa Snow created this GEM state model because every single gem in the right setting with the right care can shine. So there's 6 gems that we're going to talk about. And the gems are the different stages of dementia. And it doesn't talk about loss, but it talks about what do people with dementia still have? What are their capabilities? Because we can't always look at loss, but we need to look at what can we do to help them still thrive. Then the last one is at 1:15 till 3, and it's just, we're talking about new skills and support. So we do what's called hand under hand. Do positive physical approach. How do I approach somebody living with dementia? Because we actually lose our visual field as we age, but significantly when we have any form of dementia. And so how do I approach them so that it's a mutual consented approach? So that would be the 3 that we'll be talking about.
Great, great. So do you do different classes and different scenarios? Is this class that you're going to be offering here the same as you do in other places, or does it vary?
It varies. I do the same class in multiple places, but I change it up for the audience. It's whatever the audience wants. And I will actually have an agenda and a slideshow, but almost always I don't follow it because people have questions. And I really want those who are attending to get exactly why they came out of it. And so I will always go over the key parts of what my topic is. But every single person will leave with some form of knowledge and a takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why do you think it's important for communities and organizations to invest in dementia education?
Because it surrounds us.
Yeah.
And the more knowledge we have to help those living with dementia, the better the people living with dementia have a better quality of life. There's another saying that people living with dementia are not giving us a hard time, but they're having a hard time. And once we recognize that, then hopefully we can step back and be a little bit more patient, that they don't have control. We can think that they're being mean, that they're just an old grumpy person. But if we just step back and go, I wonder what's actually happening, then we realize that maybe it is dementia, then we can just be more patient.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's all very interesting. Well, I want to just remind people again that the training workshop on dementia will be hosted by Mandy on Friday, September 26th, here at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it is open to the public. Space is limited, so you'll want to, and I'll put this in the description of this episode. But you'll want to email wenatchee.crc@highgateseniorliving.com to reserve a spot, because we do only have a limited amount of spaces available. And do you have anything else that you wanted to add that we haven't touched on?
I mean, just one thing is, if you go, I don't know if I should go, if that's the question in your head, that means you should go. If it's even a thought, a slight thought in your head that I just don't know, this is the class for you.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks again for coming on our podcast today and letting us know about this. I think this is great information to get out into the community and raise awareness about dementia.
Yes, well, thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you very much.